I think it was just the point in my life where I was ready to make a change. You've got to be prepared to do it on your own, but then all the support that Cyber Revolution gives on top of that is then just really helpful.
You have to have people that not micromanage, but actually support you, let you go off and fail safely and learn from those lessons and be better for it.
I'm loving getting paid to sit and research things that I would just sit at home and research myself. I love learning about what we're doing, what we're trying to get better, and just being a part of the solution. It feels like I'm helping, being part of a significant cause.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cyber Revolution podcast. I'm Hewitt, the CEO of Cyber Revolution, and today, yet again, I'm joined by an alumni student of ours, Ben. Ben, how you going?
Good. How are we, Adam?
Very well, very well. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to jump on the podcast.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Can't wait to have a chat.
I can see you're all rugged up there. You're a Canberra boy. It's nice and cold down there in Canberra.
Freezing. It only took us 35 minutes to get out of town, and we're hiking in the snow, my wife and I.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's kind of nice, I guess.
it's a reward, I guess, for the freezing.
Yeah. And so, Ben was an amazing student, but the reason we've got him on the podcast is not only to talk about his studies with us, but he's also landed a role in cybersecurity, which is why I've got him on the show. And, I know how badly he wanted to get into this industry. Ben is one of the students that, I've been fortunate enough to actually meet face-to-face at one of our events or one of the CyberCon events down in Canberra. What was that? Was that last year or earlier this year?
No, last year.
That was late last year. Yeah,
Yep.
great to kind of meet him, and always thought you'd be a great person to get on the podcast. And now, having landed your role and having a few months' experience in the cyber field, we're going to get to have a good chat about that. So let's jump straight into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So where I want to start is where I do with all of our student guests, is from the beginning of your journeys into cyber. Like, what sparked the idea of making a career change from what you were doing to getting into cybersecurity?
The only way to describe it is fate or destiny, I suppose. I feel like I didn't choose it. Obviously, at some point, I made a clear decision, but the circumstances that led up to it seemed like the right choice were seemingly like fate. So essentially, I came to uni to study national security. So I suppose I've always been interested in the realm of security, defense, military, and I've been a bit of a tech kid my whole life. But what happened was I dropped out of uni and I started my own business as a tradie while I was just trying to figure out life.
Mhm.
Then I joined the Army Reserves, which is something I really wanted to do. So joining the Army Reserves was kind of the linchpin, which changed the trajectory of my life, I'd say. So I do Army, the initial training, come back, I get a job in an IT asset disposal warehouse or IT recycling. So that was kind of my first step into the IT world.
What were you doing in the IT recycling space specifically?
Yep. So I was doing sanitization of data, which essentially means that this small company would buy, say, 1,000 laptops from defense, and then they'd have to sanitize and clear the data, and then defense would be okay for those to sell on, and they could make some profit back. And so, that was my role, was just setting up long benches with hundreds of devices and just getting into the BIOS, tap, 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 just clearing data. It was repetitive, but I learned a lot about tech, and it was actually a great open door. And it was at that point that I realized I want to take a next step. I want to make a career that's meaningful, something I'm interested in. And of course, if there's good remuneration, I thought, let's play it smart. If there's an industry that's growing in tech, it looked like cybersecurity.
Yep.
So this is around 2023, I was having this thought process.
Yep.
I started looking into it. Cyber Revolution came across my social media feeds. And then a proper New Year's resolution. On the 11th of January, I started the full cyber beginner course.
Yep.
Cyber starter, and was done technically by October or even August. But now I've got one bonus course I'm still doing. Yeah.
So you thought, new year, I'm going to do this. Let's just commit to it. Jump straight in. Was that kind of the moment where you thought, right, you know what, I'm just going to jump in and do it.
Yep. And it was one of the ones I stuck to very thankfully.
Yeah. So how did you know it was the right time? Like, a lot of people think about doing a career change. Was it literally a New Year's resolution of yours? Was that the reason?
I think it was this horrible journey of joining the army, working in an IT warehouse where there wasn't many prospects, but I got an intro into IT and tech.
Yep.
And it was defense, and the crossover of defense and cyber is quite interesting in Canberra, where I'm from. I could see all the opportunities, and it just seemed like a smart call. And the new year hit, and it just seemed right.
Smart call indeed. And so that makes sense. So you had your experience with the army, obviously security, but a different type of security. And you had your IT experience. You're like, I can merge these two together. And as their Facebook algorithms do their thing, you start Googling, and then I'm assuming my face kind of popped up on Instagram or Facebook.
Sure did.
Right.
Couldn't stop putting your face out.
Sorry. Apologies. And now you're still stuck with me even after doing the course and getting a job. For that. And so was there any specific moment, or was there anything that drew you into cyber, or was it the fact that, hey, I'm looking into it, I know I've heard that it's a booming industry, you can get paid well, or was there anything specific?
I think it was just the point in my life where I was ready to make a change. Didn't have much holding me down. I'd been waiting for the right opportunity. I'd kind of been swapping between jobs or running my own business on the side. It was part-time. And I was like, I need to make a step. I want to make a smart step. I don't just want to work hard. I want to work smart.
Yep.
Where's an industry where you can get great compensation for a shorter amount of study or prep time because of the need and just the nature of the environment. And to me, cybersecurity looked like that. That if I could get my study in quick, they need people, and it was well compensated and a good career. So that was it. Yeah.
Oh, man. And so were you nervous to take that leap? Because it is a big decision, right? Whether it's a career change or I'm going to have to upskill here. At that moment, did you feel excited, confident, let's get into it? Or you're like, oh, this is a big decision?
Look, a little bit of trepidation, but compared to joining the army, getting married, some of these other life choices, it was mostly joy and excitement, mostly a no-brainer. And the only thing I was worried about was just, finishing studies. So I haven't always been the best student when it comes to just finishing things. I love studying, but I love learning, hate studying, perhaps is the way to say it.
Yeah. It can be quite tedious at these ages, right? You've got to stay consistent. That's the most important thing. But as long as you love learning and you're interested in the field, which clearly, if you were ripping apart laptops and going through software for over how many long, you've got to have some kind of interest in it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you've done the study. It seems like all of the steps in your life had led you to this moment where you wanted to get into cybersecurity. As you said before, it's fate. You've landed your role. You've been in this cyber role for a few months, and very well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take us back to that moment. It must have been amazing. Tell us about the role that the moment you landed your first role in cyber.
I remember putting the application, and I put in a lot of applications, and then the HR lady reached out and said, Ben, have you got time for a call? And you don't want to hope at that moment. You're like, it could be good. But, you get beaten down by just lots of calls and lots of recruiters. Anyway, so I take the call, and the first word says, we're very excited. And at that point, I was almost covering the microphone and jumping around the room. But yeah, so she said, we're very excited to offer you the role. And so I said yes, and it was a matter of 2 weeks. And yeah, we're in.
And it blinked, and all of a sudden you're in it. And so how long ago was that? 3 months, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, 3.5 months ago.
Amazing. And so how's the 3 months been? We were talking right before I hit record saying, how great it is and how much fun you're having, but it's also pretty intimidating. It's full on jumping into a new industry and, especially cybersecurity. So how have you found the last 3 months?
It has been a blur. I feel like my mind has melted into goo and it's been reshaped and packed back into a cybersecurity container of some shape. But it's been so encouraging. Great team, great company.
Yep.
But yeah, brain melting. So I'm not just learning a whole new field of study, but I'm learning what consulting is. I'm learning the lay of the land in Australia, the security environment, all the different players. And it's a lot going on, I tell you what. But I tell you, I feel motivated, purposeful, on track.
You are where you're supposed to be. As you said, it's fate.
Perhaps. It seems like it.
Cool, man. That's amazing. You're 3 months in, you mentioned you're super, super busy, and you can be dragged, as you said, in a bunch of different directions. Your brain feels like mush. How has the organization you're with supported you through that? That's super important.
Yeah. So they've been really good. They've got a career mentor, and then you've got your direct supervisor. And then because we're small enough, I see the executives and the founders on a regular basis, and all of them, the culture they've set is so great. They're all about putting work-life balance, just releasing you to pursue your interests and your passions. And as the tasks they give you, yes, some of them can be pretty dry, or not dry, but really detailed, really repetitive with GRC. They have good social events. They try and get you out for coffee breaks as often as possible. And so, yeah, they're really backing you. They're not micromanagers, and they just want to release you to pursue what you're good at, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. That support network, for your first year, we found a lot of the students that we place, it's so important. You have to have people that not micromanage, but actually support you, let you go off and fail safely and learn from those lessons and be better for it. Amazing. And so what's the role? What's your job title?
So I am a cybersecurity consultant. Well, that's what my email signature says. I came on board as a graduate consultant. So the full title would be cybersecurity graduate consultant, and I'm part of the defensive security team, which is a fancy way of saying GRC, governance, risk, and compliance.
So you've gone from the army to having your own trade business to, IT maintenance or whatever you want to call it, to now GRC consultant, I guess,
Yep.
in a matter of
It's a path and a half.
12 months. It is, isn't it? But as you said, it all kind of makes sense. If you look connecting the dots going backwards, it all makes sense, right? And so what's the best thing about your job? What are you loving about it?
I'm loving getting paid to sit and research things that I would just sit at home and research myself anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
So learning about emanation security, and a lot of our clients are defense. And so obviously being in the army, I'm always just interested in developments in technology and the current situations in whether it be Ukraine or the Middle East. And so working with defense now in a different role in this consulting, I love learning about what we're doing, what we're trying to get better, and just being a part of the solution. It feels like I'm helping, being part of a significant cause.
Yep. You're doing it when you're not getting paid, and now you're getting paid. That's the dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Good, man. Good. And this is probably a long answer to this question, and we don't have all that much time, but it's something that the listeners are super, super interested in. And it's more around like what a day in the life looks like. And there's probably parts where it is repetitive. There's parts where you're getting dragged in a million different directions. So it's a tough question to answer succinctly, but if you can, walk us through a typical day.
Well, as a consultant, I'm almost a part of two companies. So I'm working for some people in Brisbane, which means I'm on their SharePoint, I'm emailing them, I'm in their teams from the get-go, but I'm also having meetings in the office here in Canberra with my team. So it's lots of documents. I'll tell you what, I've got 5 different Word documents, 6 different Excel sheets, every other thing in between, multiple window tabs. Basically, you're editing documents and you're researching for policy and you're fine combing through formatting details and all that. So It's a lot of screen time on a lot of different artifacts like policy documents, but then interspersed between that is chats for advice on the people around you, all kinds of office meetings, project management. Yeah, so it feels like a combination between policy and project management and a little bit of cyber and technical, which is I really love when we get to do that more. Yeah.
I think getting to do some of the being exposed to some of the technical stuff as well is great, especially for your consulting space. But if you want to transition into that as well, and it actually might be worth asking the question, like, do you know where you want to be in sort of 24 months? Is it getting down deeper into the consulting space, becoming a senior consultant, or is it the technical world?
It's a good question. So I sit next to a lot of the engineers here, cybersecurity engineers, and some of the work they do. And I've dabbled in it. Part of my role has been to harden a laptop and working with the DISP program, which is Defense Industry Security Partners. And so hardening laptops according to E8 and all this stuff. So that's actually been pretty fun. But I do think that I'm more geared towards GRC. So I reckon in 24 months, I would love to be a senior con if that's how fast we could progress. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. And then is that something that excites you about the industry, the career progression?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just the opportunities, the windows that you get to speak into with subject matter expert opinion, which contributes to an outcome.
Yep.
That actually makes a difference. Yeah, on the ground for sure.
I was actually speaking to a former student. His name is Ben Wallace. I'm not sure whether you heard that podcast. I've had him on twice. So Ben Wallace was a IT recruiter, got into the GRC consulting space and got 4 promotions in 24 months. And so I got him, or 18 months, I got him back on the podcast and he explained how he did that. And so if you want to listen to that episode, he's got some great tricks and tips in there. He attributed all of his career progression and he's done really, really well for himself and is in a great role now and is a senior consultant. Attributed it all to learning. He just dived into it, learned as much as possible and loved learning it, which is obviously what you do as well. And he got career progression through that.
Well, we share most of a name, so I might have to go and listen because perhaps I'll learn some of his, or absorb some of it just by sharing a name or something.
We can connect Ben Walls and Ben Wallace together and you guys can chat cyber and cyber evolution. Okay, great. Thanks for that. I know it's a tough question to answer and you're only 3 months in and every day is probably a little bit different, but the listeners are super curious to hear about that. Okay, and so if we revert back to your decision to get into cybersecurity, a lot of questions that need to be answered. It can be a difficult time to make those types of decisions. 2-part question. Like, were you nervous about learning new skills, having to go in and having to, commit X amount of months to study, not knowing that you didn't have any previous IT experience or cyber experience as well? And second part of that question, like, why did you choose Cyber Evolution? What stood out about us compared to the other training providers?
Yeah. Look, yes, I was nervous because my IT technical skills, when it comes down to, some of the hard skills, were really non-existent. So I knew it was going to be a big learning curve from the ground up. But I guess I was just ready for a new journey. So I was going to go all in. So I was prepared through thick or thin. And the question was just how hard was it going to be? So luckily it wasn't as hard as I thought. So yes, I was nervous about taking the leap. But then I chose Cyber Evolution. The main reason was, I think, your marketing. So it showed that you were active, interested, down to earth, like you were putting effort into the quality of stuff you're putting out. And to me, that just tells of someone who cares. And that's a big step. And perhaps you were first. I mean, perhaps you got that first mover advantage. You're the first one I saw. You're the one that stuck in my mind. But I just like the idea of the full package and the support that was getting offered and just the easy process. One contract, one thing, just hit the stamp for approval. And if you can make the budget work, then all you got to do is just click yes and you're on your way.
It was fate, you could say.
I think it was fate.
And how did you find the support, just quickly as well, throughout your studies? Because that's important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was prepared to do it all myself. So maybe that's a good talking point for anyone doing it, is that you've got to be prepared to do it on your own. But then all the support that Cyber Evolution gives on top of that is then just really helpful.
Yeah.
So the best thing about it was being able to talk to my advisor just with general questions about how to access the software, timelines, how to book exams. That was nice and easy.
Yep.
The other bit was having Jason or whoever you have now as the final exam prep or whatever we call that session.
Yeah, Jason's one of our student mentors. Yep.
Yeah, right before the exam where you felt clear to, if he gave us down for approval, that was the final tick that I felt, okay, I'm good to go for the exam. So that was actually hugely helpful. And I probably wouldn't have been so confident going in those exams without that little practice session.
Shout out to Jace. He does great work for the students. Amazing, mate. And so last question. Now, I ask all of the people that come on podcast this specific question. So for yourself, you said connecting the dots going backwards, it all seemed like it was meant to be. But there are a lot of people who are sitting on the fence about whether cybersecurity could be for them or not. It is a big decision, fair enough. What would be your top 3 pieces of advice for somebody that is wanting to get into cyber, but they're potentially letting fear hold them back a little bit?
Now is better than later, in the sense that, it's not now or never, but now is better than later. just because of the nature of the industry. Being in Canberra, especially with defense, but seeing I'm seeing, it feels like as cybersecurity goes on in age, perhaps it's finding its place in the greater tech and IT world as, a specific skill. And so I think that the wide window of opportunity when it was the Wild West and no one really knew what it was, perhaps is becoming a little bit more defined. And so now is probably the best time to jump in. And so, yeah, just get into it. You can always make money back, but you can never get time back. So perhaps look into it. And if it's not for you, not ideal, right? Spend some money that you don't get value out of it, but you can't get time back. So get into it, see if it's for you. And yeah.
So it's not now or never, but it's now is better, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, okay. Trademark that.
Better than kicking the can down the road, right?
100%. Yeah. I couldn't choose what I wanted to do with my career. I was kind of, if I choose that, then that'll close that door. At some point, I went, you've got to just choose a door to fully walk in and go in hard 100%. And you find out soon enough it's not the right one, but you have to be all in. And so that was for me is if you're going to decide to do it, go all in and give it a proper crack.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where we don't expect people from just seeing our ad straight away. You can't enroll online into our program and go, I want to do this and just jump into it. I think, what you're saying, and it's a very good point, is you need to do your research, have a chat to our team, go through our process, to make sure that you're eligible and a good fit. You want to make sure that it's a good fit for you, right? You're going to get to the point where you're 70, 80, maybe even 90% certain that it's going to be, for you, but no one's 100% certain. You then have to take a little leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
Amazing, Ben. Mate, thanks so much. I know how busy you are. We've been missing each other on the phone back and forth for the past couple of weeks trying to get this podcast organized.
We're glad here.
And so next time I come down to Canberra, I'll get you, let's have a beer or coffee or lunch. Maybe not over the next month or two because it's like -5 down there at the moment. So I might avoid that. But
it makes the coffee so much more comforting.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. And depending on if I get a promotion or not, it'll be on me, right?
No, it's on me. It's on me. Appreciate it. Experiencing, coming on and sharing your experience. And so thanks so much, mate. Super proud of you for landing the role. As I said, when I saw that you had the commitment to come to do that extracurricular stuff, come to the event down in Canberra, meet us face to face, go up and network and speak to random people. I told Hugo that, you're definitely going to be successful in this industry and you're now just starting, mate. So congratulations.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it. Another episode done and dusted. If you enjoyed this episode, please keep liking, commenting, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave comments in there. We're loving the comments that everyone is leaving. The more specific, the better. And we can, tailor the questions in the podcast to answer those as well. Okay, so thanks for listening. If you want to know more about our job placement program, how we train and place people, just head to cyberrevolution.com.au, leave your details there, and someone from the team will be in touch.